What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven here with your afternoon snap, and today I'm going to talk about the Snapprentice, a competition that I have been involved with for the past few months, where myself and 13 other content creators teamed up to compete in various Marvel Snap related tasks. I'm gonna do a real quick breakdown of just some of the tasks that we've done this season, just to prepare you a little bit because the finale is this weekend. You can watch on Devilish Plays Twitch channel this Sunday at 4 p.m. EST if you want to see how it concludes. I am in the finals, and I am going to talk about some of the tasks that got me there, but like I said, I will have more videos from this competition in the future with even more in-depth breakdowns on some of these tasks. One really cool task early on was judged by Griffin Bennett, the Marvel Snap community manager, and you had to dress up like a card in Marvel Snap, or a variant, as some people did, some like very specific ones. I went with Mysterio, and I wasn't really trying to channel a specific, well, kind of, I was trying to channel Jake Gyllenhaal because I had a beard and hair that I felt was looking like him. And I felt like I could make a costume that was like reasonably some of the things that Mysterio has. And also, I was standing in between a mirror trifold, like a mirror that has two more mirrors that swing out. So and some of the pictures I took, I had like infinite copies of me, but you could see the mirrors. So I wound up putting this, the packaging there is the it's what my dry cleaning comes back in. They just happen to use green plastic. I also wanted to highlight two members from my team. If you're not familiar with The Apprentice, which is, you know, what it's based off of loosely, and it does follow the format of The Apprentice, but I think it's mostly named the Snapprentice because of that portmanteau of Snap and Apprentice, but it does follow the format of The Apprentice. So there's two teams and you compete, and whichever team loses, somebody can get eliminated from the losing team. But for this task, two of the players on my team took first and second. So I just wanted to give shout outs to both of them here and their amazing, amazing jobs. This Magneto was really, really cool. And I don't know the stats on it, but I think they said there was like 50 utensils thrown in with their headgear. And then obviously this pixie is just fantastic and a really great recreation of the pixie art. There were also some challenges where you had to try to do something in Marvel Snap. The first example is you have to try to make the biggest possible power in Marvel Snap at one location was the challenge. How much power can you make at one location? And that is like an interesting challenge enough. If you want to start to think about it, you might think, okay, maybe like Onslaught, Mystique your Onslaught, Iron Man, and you know, what else can you do along those lines? However, for this task, you could not use any cards with 4 or more cost anywhere in your deck or in play or from locations or whatever. So that really limits the possibilities. I want to mention as well, if you are personally brainstorming and trying to figure out what you would come up with for these challenges, which I think is part of the fun of it, you are allowed to play in friendly battles. You don't have to like take these decks to the ladder and see what happens, which also totally changes the strategy of it all, right? Like Maximus is the best card in the Snapprentice challenges, and like Crystal to draw both players a card is just straight upside. Castle Zemo, Bar Sinister is banned.
I'm down to remove it if we can play for Castle Zemo. Let's see how this.
Yeah, I'm curious if this works. I think it will.
Yeah.
Nice.
This is insane.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Wow, and I'm gonna give you a Sparky with Prio. Yeah, okay, this is
This
cool.
looks good.
Wow.
And I'm just losing one Sparky proc.
Yep.
So this is the second most high roll thing that could happen.
Yeah, it's just one Sparky proc. That's really not even a big deal.
Yeah.
Oh, then play a Maximus Center for 6 more points.
True.
It's 6 more points, but I mean, that's pretty cool. Is this
And
a
we got the
record?
Aranya off. Normally we don't get the Aranya off in this sequence, right? It should be big. This might beat the 9 mil.
Yeah, I think this will beat 9 mil for like a classic, no Elysium, no cheaty locations.
I mean, we had Castle Zemo.
Yes, we have Castle Zemo, and did we also have Bar Sinister?
No, we never had Bar Sinister.
Right. Wink, wink.
Right, exactly. We never had Bar Sinister.
That'll be fun drama to be like, okay,
They had Bar Sinister.
They had Bar Sinister, yeah. Banned location. That's actually pretty good value.
Wait, this is huge. Is this 8? This is 8 digits.
Yeah, I think it's 8 digits for sure.
This is insane. All right, this is 8 digits. This is our best. Best minus the Sinister London one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because the Sinister London we had 2 extra moves, right?
That's
We had the
14
extra
million?
lucky move. Yeah, 14 mil.
Nice.
All right, well.
14 million and 6. That did not even win. So feel free to sound off in the comments if you have any other ideas for how to take this even further. But I also want to talk about the next in-game task like this, which was, and there are restrictions for these tasks as well, in terms of, actually, you know what? This one might not have had a restriction. Yeah, okay. So the next task is, how many cards can you destroy with a Carnage? The goal is to have a Carnage with the most procs of its ability, the most +2s on your Carnage, using Super Scroll plus another Super Scroll, and then both of them are copying like a Wong and an Onslaught and a Mystique or something, so that way you can get a bunch of on reveals and you have 2 Super Scrolls at the location, you have an X-23, and then you play your Carnage, and you can keep on destroying the X-23, and then you need to fill the other 2 locations, so every time the X-23 is destroyed, it lands back at the location with Carnage. And there was actually a lot of difficulty in completing this task because, and this was not something that I knew about going into this whole thing, but if you were trying to do crazy shenanigans like this in Marvel Snap, it's actually very, very easy to break the game. If you have a Super Scroll copying multiple Onslaughts and Wongs and Mystiques, the game can just crash instead of actually doing anything. So it became a balance of how much can we get away with that won't cause the game to just not function at all and still do all of the cool stuff that we want to do. For future tasks, they started adding restrictions that there was only allowed to be like 2 Onslaughts and 2 Wongs on the board, stuff like that, that kept everything with it, because otherwise the tasks became about how close can you get? Like if the game breaks right here, the challenge wasn't get to here, obviously. The challenge was to get as close as you can to here, but like when you're playing with Onslaughts and things, you're not going up like this, you're going up like this. And it was just annoying and time consuming because it's things that you don't really intuitively understand or know about Marvel Snap, even if you play it every day. And the final task like this that I want to talk about was the penultimate task of the season. For the top 5, we were tasked with making the smallest possible Deadpool. And again, I want to give you a moment to think about how you might do this. You have to make Deadpool negative, and then you can destroy it if you want, and you can get, a bunch of points on it that way. One card that was banned from this was Shuri, because it's kind of trivial to create a bunch of Wongs through Scroll and Onslaught and stuff like that, and once you have a little bit of negative power on Deadpool, you could activate Shuri a bunch of times with its on reveal and then play Deadpool into that and just have a negative a billion power Deadpool. And by the way, one other thing that I learned during the Snapprentice is there is an actual biggest number in Marvel Snap. There is a point where the game stops counting, and that's possibly something that you've seen before. I didn't talk about it in the first task because like you typically get there with those cards that cost 4 or more, and now that we're playing with all of those cards that cost 4 or more, it is definitely possible to hit that cap going upwards, but can you hit it going downwards, going into the negatives? And that was an interesting challenge for this task. And like I said, I'm just kind of padding here, that way you have time to think about it yourself. And at this point, I was pretty seasoned, pretty experienced with all of the different intricacies of how you can make things that you want to have happen in Marvel Snap. But I guess one idea that I had thought of for this challenge was you could use Celine. That is like a pretty good affliction. It's a -3, so you play that into like a Wong location and give Deadpool a bunch of affliction. And then there's a really cool maneuver that you can do. From there, the goal is to trigger the on reveal of Dr. Octopus as many times as you can. So the first trigger brings out Deadpool, the second trigger brings out a Carnage, which destroys the Deadpool and returns it to your hand. So then the third trigger brings out Deadpool again, and then the fourth trigger brings out a Venom or a Killmonger, and then Deadpool comes out again, and then you have the other one of Deadpool or Killmonger, and then Deadpool, and then Deathlock, like for as many cards as you could have in your hand, right? So you could destroy it 6 times with that strategy, which I think is pretty cool, because otherwise it's very difficult to get multiple destroys on the final turn. One other thing that I tested was trying to use that same Jocasta setup with a Kid Omega, and activating Kid Omega a bunch of times in a turn. It works for Wolverine and X-23, but it does not, unfortunately, work for Deadpool. I do think that this final task was cool in how it brought together a lot of ideas from the previous tasks, though, and we were able to like build on those things.
This is it. How'd we do?
Pretty well, I hope.
I mean, this is exactly what we were trying to do, so let's hope it's good.
It looks like integer limit.
It looks good. It looks like a good number. Nice.
It does look like integer limit. So actually, the real secure thing would be, you see how the Deadpool is at -4.6?
Yeah.
We need to make sure it's at -4.7.
As Zinni just said, we realized it could get even just a little bit smaller, so we did that as well. We realized we didn't even need the adamantium armor, and from there, all you have to do is play like a red guardian. We went with destroying the Deadpool again because that seemed like the most fun. And that brings us to the final task of the Snapprentice, which I'm only going to show a portion of in this video. If you want to see the full results and everything, check out the finale. But a big portion of the finale is battling for the first time. There's also battling that results in like the eliminations. There were called boardroom battles each week. That was never something I participated in, so didn't really get too much into that in this video. But to finish off the season, we basically just played a bunch of Marvel Snap against each other in the top 4, and what you are about to see is not like the whole picture. I just want to like put that out there, and it'll make sense why I'm saying that. But like this in itself does not spoil who ultimately will win. I don't know who will win the Snapprentice as I am recording this, but it's important to know, and I'll probably say this throughout the rest of this video at some point in the commentary, but it's basically like snowball format. You know, it's conquest, it's closed deck list, so they don't know what we're going to be playing, but how many cubes you have remaining at the end of the matches is important. So you will want to try to win with as many cubes as possible. And if you lose, there is incentive to make your opponent lose with the fewest cubes as possible, but you really care about yourself the most, so you want to win with as many cubes as possible. And the rest of this video is just going to be the sum of my final matches for the finale. I'm also going to mention before we get into all of that I am doing a giveaway. So if you want to be entered into the giveaway, all you have to do is comment the word snap on any of my videos, and every time you comment is another entrance to win a season pass or PAX bundles. And you can comment on all of my videos. Every comment is one entry. Just make sure your comment includes the word snap, because I upload content from all types of different games, and I want to make sure that the people that want to win it are those that are entering to win. We are just going to play the best deck, or at least what was the best deck not super long ago. Hopefully it is still the best one. +2 energy for the turn, but only 1 card. All right, makes sense for me to play a Cable this turn, I think. And take a look. One of the reasons I do like this deck, playing Cable and Copycat in the Conquest format, I think is pretty smart. And it seems like my opponent has a similar idea here. We're going to Cord and Kitty up. Cording on a Merlin is totally fine. Cording on a Maverick, going to be the next best option. I imagine this is Chavez plus Polymorph here. Oh, Nico plus Chavez on the draw too, but no snap from them is pretty good. Oh, and my head is blocking Shu Lao. If you would have guessed, yes, I am playing Shu Lao. And then the Wakandan Embassy to pump up everything they just drew. It's kind of crazy. The only hope is that they won't be able to play multiple cards every turn, but seems like a stretch. Maverick getting +2 is at least somewhat good for me. They have 1 Merlin spell for the whole game, and that is going to be a Polymorph. Cyclops, 1 additional free power out of that, and now they have a Spider Ham, which means I might not want to play my kittens this turn. Might want to keep the cats in hand. +2 on a Nico ×2. I think I will actually run with. And then I am playing probably just Maverick after that, hoping to draw into Shu Lao next turn, or Scarlet Spider, which is the reason really to play Maverick right now. Okay. They take out my Cosmo, which I didn't need, and then they Cable something for me. It looks like we're playing the exact same deck list, huh? Looks like it. and my copycat hits their Maverick. So there's definitely some upsides here. One, I know that they don't have Maverick, so they didn't get Maverick out of Wakandan Embassy. They could play a 7-power Scarlet Spider this turn and Shulao it next turn. But last turn they only played one card, right? They played Cable and then flipped over Spider-Ham. I think me stealing their kitten has actually turned this into a snappable position. From here, I go Kitty Kitty and then I Maverick onto Maverick. And this gives me the flexibility to play Shulao plus huge Maverick onto a kitten next turn. But instead, we're just going to take him for 1 cube. Okay, I would have retreated a little bit earlier in that match, but I did apparently have some things going for me. What do you know? Okay, I think we can just run out the Spider-Ham here. Or the America. I mean, it's all the same. Because we could save it and then play 2 cards on turn 2, potentially tossing priority for a Deafening Chord. I think I'm just going to play a Spider-Ham, though. I think that it's just good to play your cards and not really overthink it. We saved this for a potential Camartage. Whoever has Merlin here can win this match. Ooh, Attilan. I think we still go Cable into Attilan here. I'll save my Spider-Ham. And yeah, this will give me priority to Deafening Chord as well, but we're going to let Attilan happen. They might also be cabling. No, they're going for a Merlin. So I think I'm going to double chord and try to strike the Merlin. You know what? I'll Merlin myself. I will Merlin and then I'll use my own chord. That way they don't know what I ripped. Looks good. Yeah, I mean, we could throw Merlin center and that way it's harder for them to chord. Oh, they can't chord my Merlin. Never mind. Okay. Deafening Chord. Missed. Bummer. We'll have another shot at it. Omniversal Presence to take out Attilan. Makes sense. And then a Spider-Ham gonna come down. I don't have the Nico for the +2 onto Maverick anymore. Copycat Kitty Pride is the worst hit. It's the best thematically, turning a cat into a kitten, but the worst otherwise for sure. I think we like dump our hand here. The Nico is not super impressive. Probably take out New York. We can hold on to the Nico. Like I said, not super impressive. Oh yeah, I don't have to play around a Deafening Chord. Might as well activate this now too, right? Yeah, I just don't see a reason to play the Nico. We can play it next turn alongside the Merlin spell. Missed again. Well, that squirrel definitely has no abilities and is certainly going to get polymorphed here. Maybe this location can mess them up. It's Quantum Tunnel. Taking out Scarlet Spider is good. Taking out my Nico is fantastic. There were 2 misses there for me. So most of those options were going to be good. They are now Quantum Tunneling, which has stopped their potential polymorph. That could be good. This becomes a Demon Polymorph. No bueno. And we have ourselves a tunnel, which is a perfect place to throw a pig. So I might try to like loop some Shulaos. If we do this, it's not bad. I have a big Maverick. But then what am I playing? I'm playing Shulao, then I'm activating Maverick, and then I'm putting a Copycat over here. Oh, Once in Future doesn't work here. So my Maverick Shulao plan would never work.
I think I might just want to retreat. It's just annoying. Because they don't really have much here either. They're just like barely beating me on points. Who knows how the Quantum Tunnel... Like, I felt like I could win the Quantum Tunnel. I don't know. I felt like I didn't have enough time to make the decisions that game. At least, like, on the final turn. So much happened with that Omniversal Presence changing the game. And I felt like I didn't really have a moment to react. I'm going to wait and drop 2 1-drops on turn 2. We are certainly playing the exact same deck list at this point. The tracker just like doesn't work anymore for me. I don't know why, but what can you do? We shall Spider Ham plus Kitty. They're not going to Merlin here. Oh, Cable, sure. I don't know if I would have played Nico there. And do we know that they are for sure playing Copycat, or could they have a different 12th card? That I'm not sure about. It's really hard to stay in it here, especially with an unimpressive hand. Yeah, we'll retreat. That's the thing about having an unimpressive hand and then getting cabled. You're like, oh, do they have my impressive hand now? So, just on the idea that like maybe they had my Shulao, that is pretty feels bad. Taco Truck's a fun one with Shulao. This was a featured location this season for that reason. Probably with Merlin, I just want to start running out my cards. We can polymorph this later too. Throwing the Chimichanga onto Merlin makes a lot of sense. Throwing it onto Maverick is slightly more powerful. I'm debating a turn 1 snap. Ooh, okay. They are throwing their Chimmy onto Kitty. So that implies that they already have their Shulao. I think I snap before I activate Ham here, because that could really put the fear into them. Well, I mean, I can activate Ham first, but I think I do it like this. And now I am considering this move. By playing the Chimichanga this turn, it gives an additional +3 on Shulao, so it's arguably more points onto Maverick to run it out like this. I think this is good. We hit their Shulao. There we go. Yeah, that's pretty good. Kitty Pride will be big for them, but I mean, if they don't have Spider Ham for my Shulao, or like a Cosmo to randomly spike it, then we are feeling pretty good. Okay, they're gonna retreat in shame after getting hammed there, and now we move into high stakes mode. That was round 4. Cool. An interesting thing about this format, we do get points for every cube we can keep going into the or just at the end of the match. So we want to try to win as bigly as we can. That's a slight consideration right now. Attalon, again, I am snapping to Nico draw 2. It's a little bit wonky in Attalon, but it could set us up for a big win as well. This is going to be a 4-cuber. They have Nico location change. Are you going to want to change Attalon when I'm about to draw cards? Are you going to want to change Limbo when I'm about to draw cards? Not sure on either of those things. But I know my play for the turn. My play was set in stone here. Destroy my Chavez and lay out the ham. They definitely have some options here. So next turn, we want to play Kitty Pride plus Merlin. They are going to get rid of Attalon for us. which I think sets us up very, very well. We also hit the +2 on Maverick. I'm sorry, +3 on Maverick. You can't have my Shu Lao. You can't have my Maverick. You can't have my Scarlet Spider. You can have a mini lab, but Limbo? I don't know. This looks like it's going to go pretty well for me. We can Cosmo and pull out a card and not give them an on reveal. That's cool. But so is Merlining. I think I want a Spider Ham as soon as possible. Look, they're very inclined to start to try to play 2 cards right now. Yeah. It's going to be a deafening chord on the Spider Ham. Okay, too little too late, unfortunately. And there is their Merlin. I'm going to play my Merlin, bring out their Scarlet Spider. Okay. So I just need to get my Shu Lao not Cosmoed. That's the only thing that I'm slightly afeared of. And what I get to do this game is turn 4 Maverick, turn 5 Shu Lao onto the Maverick, turn 6 Scarlet Spider. Oh no, I'm not going to plan on a turn 6. So we definitely want to play Maverick right now, huh? Do I want to not Autos Lab? That seems reasonable. They don't have a deafening chord for my Merlin. What is this again? Chavez? Yeah. Sorry, slightly different order here. All right. We are making this nearly the final game. They do have deafening chord for my Merlin. Strike that. Okay, so they now are the sole controller of Limbo for this game. They're going to once and future their Scarlet Spider. Neat play. Cool. Okay, and Auto's Lab goes away, turns into a pet mansion. This turn we kind of do have to Shu Lao. But that's fine. It's only a +6. We could hold it. It's like a +6, or I play 2 cards this turn, 2 cards next turn, and like just get a lot more value out of it. So that's not unreasonable. Sure. This is a fine play. We're big in Pet Mansion right now. They're going to come back here a little bit with a Maverick and a Scarlet Spider. Still not getting that Maverick bonus onto the Spider there, though. Okay. Obviously, I'm inclined to go Ham plus Shu Lao this turn. Now I'm inclined to go Kitty plus Shu Lao, which will be a +12, which is like the same as putting +6 on this. I think I do run it out. It's tricky. It's an impossible position for me. I will say there is a benefit for me to leaving myself an option to Cosmo on the final turn. I'm not drawing any more cards this game, which is awkward. Okay. This still allows me to Cosmo in all 3 locations with Prio, but puts down a lot of points this turn too. I think this is the best hedge. Let's see what they've done. Is it Omniversal plus Shu Lao? It's possible. What do you got for me? That is not an Omniversal Presence. That is a Shu Lao, though, onto Scarlet Spider, and a Polymorph onto a Werewolf by Night. Okay. Scarlet Spider's center is going to mean that I have definitely lost center, but I don't think they are beating
17 here. I don't confidently know that they have Copycat in their deck. Shang-Chi isn't really going to win this location either. They do get to bounce the werewolf over, so that's 25. This is only 31. 6 points. So we're saying like, I don't know, a polymorph on Maverick plus something else. I think I'm losing this. No way Cosmo wins, but I mean, we're in it here, right? Let's battle. What do they got for me? Yeah, polymorph on Maverick. Going to be a leech. This can be like anything, right? Cosmo, and that means I lose by 1? No, it means I win by 2. It was Jocasta as the final card. Incredibly, incredibly close match there. I had no clue which way that one was going to go, but GG's, Old Man Jr. I'm going to keep it going with the same deck list now against Tucker. I thought about changing it up a little bit, but if it ain't broke, and this deck is very good and also just has a lot of good cards for both mirror matches and for the Conquest format as a whole. So we are going to hold on tight to Merlin with Merlin Shulao with Cable, Spider-Ham, and Copycat. This is a pretty solid start, to be honest. And we'll Spider-Ham here. That way we don't have to 50-50 a polymorph with the zombie horde. Merlin getting nerfed down to 2 power is awkward because it means that it will have the same amount of power as some of your other cards in your deck, which is awkward for polymorph and once in future. After turn 4, at a random 5 cost plus card to each side. This is a brand new location. I've never seen this before. I'm fine to rip a Cable, but I think we should lead with a Merlin, and I can't see a reason not to ham it up right now. So we're going to go for the Merlin ham. We see Luna Snow, plus we get down our Merlin. Ooh, they've got points in Luke's bar. We can Cable into Luke's bar. That's actually kind of cute. I think I will go for that. Yeah, that seems good. Polymorph on the zombie horde means that we might get a zombie horde over in Luke's bar. Starting to Cable cards is really good. We'll have a decent idea of what their deck is for the rest of the match. So that's just a lot of fun. Honestly, we could consider snapping if their play here is just Luna Snow. If they have like an Electro, they would have played it into Luke's bar. So they are simply playing a hamified Snow. Now, I do need to win Luke's bar, of course, but we can get there with an Omniversal. So maybe I go like Omniversal, Cable, Kitty, and Snap. This turn, we will enter the Cave of Le Dragon. And I mean, they just didn't have the turn 3 ramp. I think we snap to that. Next turn, we're playing Kitty plus Scarlet or Spell plus Scarlet. Oh, they snapped? All right. I'm still interested in a snap. I'm not going to be able to use these cabled cards, but we start to win in Luke's bar here, and that seems interesting to me. Ooh, Symbiote Spider-Man. Now, we don't take Prio here. So if my opponent has a Black Panther, they are going to be able to make a big Black Panther, but we know we can stop the Arnim Zola, and they don't have Taskmaster. So that is some actionable information right now. Oh, we both get a White Tiger. I was not expecting that. Polymorph would be beautiful. Once in future, not as much. So now I think I have to go once in future Scarlet Spider here. They're gonna beat me. That's annoying. They're going to take Prio. Well, now it's a 50-50 that they even grab the Black Panther, so this was helpful.
So I guess I will just be tossing Prio then. Once in future plus some Vibranium. I'm never grabbing Prio, but I do have a mighty big Shu Lao. Yeah, it's just impossible for me to take priority and play Scarlet Spider this turn, so I'm going to make this play. This allows me to play Polymorph plus something else into the cave, so it seems smart to me. It's going to be Fall in 1 plus Activate, and they missed. That feels good to me. They've seen a decent portion of their deck at this point. They have priority, but I don't think that they're a Cosmo deck. Even if they are, they have to predict the Shu Lao. They only have a normal amount of energy. We know that Maverick is also a card in their deck, which seems good to me. And I think I'm going to just do like a fairly straightforward Shu Lao play here. Shu Lao, Penny, Kitty, Spoider. We could also just play for 2 locations here, which I don't think is wacky. We go Shu Lao, Tiny Kitty, Penny, throw the Spider into the cave, and we're putting 12 points here where we're already winning. I kind of want to snap. I have no clue what their deck is doing right now, but I know it's not playing Taskmaster. Let's see what happens. Okay, they're just going to retreat. Fair enough. I don't know if they stay in it there if I don't snap. But I am encouraged to try to make an 8-cuber happen. Oh, it is Pixie. Right now on Discord, their message says, I think they're streaming right now, and their message says it's Pixie time. So I very much thought about putting Mobius in my deck. But they don't have the Pixie this game either. They didn't have it last game. Okay, they could go for an Agony Maverick play. We will simply cable. Do we ever copycat? Do we ever copycat Pixie? It would have been crazy if I put in Mobius and we copycat Pixied them. That would have been nuts. Symbiote Spider-Man does not really work with other activate cards. With Prio here, I think I ham and then delay a Nico. Probably putting it onto a Scarlet Spider next turn, but maybe just a Symbiote Spider-Man and we cable again. That's actually cute too, isn't it? Sure. Well, they don't make any play here. Yeah, I mean, we have their Pixie. I think I'm going to put some pressure on with a Snap right now. And it actually looks like I'm going Maverick into Scarlet Spider. And flinging around a 10-power Spider. But let's Snap. This might just draw out a retreat as well. I'd also kind of like to hurry it up because my stomach, I gotta go to the bathroom. Might be a little bit antsy for the rest of this commentary. Okay, they are going to retreat. The real deciding factor here is how many cubes I have left, not how many cubes I take from my opponent. And kind of don't care about them. I just want to get as many cubes myself as I possibly can. Auto's Lab could give them the Ancient one. That would be terrible. Could give them a symbiote spider, which we would not be able to deafening cord. Could give them a turn 1 pixie. I'll throw off. Yeah, they're going to throw on. I'm actually hoping for Merlin and that I don't burn my Shulao. But if I do burn my Shulao, then I am... Okay, we're going to burn my deafening cord. That's actually fine as well. I would have tried to then polymorph the Shulao, which I guess would have been interesting. That's a bummer. That is certainly a bummer. We will hope that Copycat turns into the ×2, and we'll hope for an Omniversal Presence. We're going to give them a dead Taskmaster. That's beautiful. And there's their Pixie. So we can't really predict their output here. But we can potentially do some funky stuff. This is still on +2. Oh, is that how this card works? Did not know that. Sure. Let's start chewing. No plays on turn 3. We also have a Pixie. Wow. Wow. That's funky. Alright, we have Omniversal for Sandbar this turn, and we have a 1-cost Scarlet Spider. That's wild. I'll need to play Scarlet Spider next turn, but next turn I can play Copycat plus Scarlet Spider plus a Merlin skill. I think we snap. This is a crazy hit. I guess my deck is set up well. I mean, yeah, I have Spider-Ham and Nico still in my deck. We can play these in the opposite order. That's good, too. Just barely have Prio right now. Clintar. That is going to take out their Pixie and my Kitty Pryde. I actually like that. Ooh, they can reset a Taskmaster. I'm not sure that's what they'll go for, but that's an interesting plan, and I can polymorph this symbiote right now. So that's what I will go for. And we're going to do that like this. I don't know. This is just a ton of points. We can't snap again, unfortunately. But it feels like we're doing all right here. We could see an Ancient One from them again. Okay, nice. They are snapping. I was about to DM them on Discord to ask if we could take a pause after this game. But looks like that might not be necessary. We are going to have a big Shulao. That's a huge polymorph as well. That's a 6-point polymorph. This is a pretty reasonable Copycat here, too. And they have the Fallen One, plus a ton of energy on the final turn. What they're going to do with it? No clue. Not my problem. That's just not my problem. So... I don't have anything that... Yeah, we need to once in future. We're just going to Shulao, Spider-Ham, activate, and honestly see what happens. Could it be worth keeping them honest by playing something here? What if we do this? I have no clue what they're doing. Let's try this. I activated this, right? Okay. Okay. Good luck. All right, big shoes to fill over in Shadowland. Hopefully no Shang-Chi, but that is a 33-point lead. They've got a Penny Parker and a Man Spider. Okay, that's big, but what else do they have? Maverick and Fing Fang Foom. Cool, new card, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. No, it's not, and we grab a clean 10-cube sweep. That is going to be very, very crucial. Now here is our match up against Phil. All right, we are in, playing the same deck list again. This deck's really good. I mean, everybody knows that at this point, right? We can Cosmo 2 different locations, which is cool. Without a second one-cost card, like without a Kitty or a Merlin, we might want to hold Chavez for turn 2 this game. Makes sense to me for now. If we draw Merlin, it'll be a little something. Okay, Squirrel Girl. Not what I was expecting at all there. How can I turn off the untapped tracker? Because it is not doing shite for me. Okay, there we go. Now they won't be able to play to the bridge this turn. That's probably fine for them. I think we can Chavez here. It might be awkward, but we can always play Maverick into nowhere next turn, so that's also totally fine. Let's ham it up and play a Chavez. So I'm thinking Killmonger at this point. This could be, ooh, can they turn off nowhere with Nico location change? That is a cute play. And we draw another one-cost card with Hell's Kitchen. That gives me Deafening Chord. And then we have Nico here. Hell's Kitchen, unfortunately, shuffled both decks. So they didn't get their Chavez card there either. And I think the play from here is Nico copy Maverick. And I actually do feel pretty good about that one. They're snapping. I feel like we could snap here too. Could get a little bit punished, but we get to go Maverick plus, no, just Maverick, hopefully then into Maverick something else. We really want to draw exactly Kitty Pryde next turn, but I think I'm still gonna battle here, and I want to keep playing 2 cards per turn. Yeah, I'm just sticking with it for Maverick into Maverick curve. That seems fun to me. All right, they have the Killmonger, which means the spider doesn't go off, and a bunch of cards died. 2 of my cards were destroyed. Deafening Chord misses. 5 of their cards were destroyed. So death is free. Survivor's Camp is now the center location. We do find Kitty Pryde. That is cracked. I don't mind the Horde, but I don't want them to draw death. So I'm going to run out my card center. We also do have Cosmo for a second nowhere, but I think we're off that at this point. And with that Kitty Pryde, we have to seriously consider a snap, because we're going to Shu Lao and make a huge Maverick to make a huge Kitty Pryde on the final turn. I'm going to snap. I think that this is just a good enough curve here. Like I said, we're battling for the camp. Next turn, we play Kitty Pryde, then we Maverick onto Maverick. Wow, more ones. This is a Morgan Le Fay deck. Carnage comes for the Killmonger. This is going to be 6 points to beat me in the camp. But we get a Horde. And little points are going to matter, I think. They're going to have a free death. So that's very cool. Yes, now we go Kitty and we Maverick onto Maverick, of course. And then finally, we're going to Shu Lao onto Maverick for the full plus 15 there, right? And then we get to throw all of those points onto the Kitty Pryde as well. This will be somewhat predictable. But it's a huge Maverick. It's just a massive Maverick here. Is it predictable? Is it not enough points to various locations? I feel like this is just so good. I do think they're going to be able to predict the Shu Lao and maybe just have enough points to beat the Maverick. Like, they can know that this is 21 and play around that specifically. But my idea here is this and then this. And just have way too many points over in Hell's Kitchen. I think they're going to beat me in nowhere, which is really annoying. And I think they're going to put points in both of these locations to beat a Sholau. Because like 4 points here is nothing. 3 points here is nothing. This is still really good, though. I'm going to go for it. I think that it's really good if I can grab... if I can still have all of these cubes left over. So we're going to go for it. We're going to hope that they just don't play into nowhere. And they don't. Which hopefully just means huge points. They did make a play in Hell's Kitchen, but so did I. So did I in Hell's Kitchen. Huge Maverick, 25-point kitty there. 24-point. That'll grab me an 8-cuber. It's really good to walk out of these matches with huge cube amounts. So that's why I'm making big plays here. A lot on the line for that game. But now we just have to take 2 cubes from them. I still want to do this as soon as possible. And this puts a different spin on the matches as opposed to... you know, if we were just playing without, if we were just playing to win and it didn't matter how many cubes you had remaining, I'd feel like pretty confident. But now it's like, okay, every cubes that I win here will extend my lead for the rest of this event. So all of these games are important. We are going to play kitty every turn this game, I do believe. At the very least, I'm going to keep curving out because I already have the Shoulao. I'm fine taking a 1-cuber if it means I'm only risking a 1-cuber. Ooh, Marrow. Okay, that's funky. That is not a card that I have really seen. Ooh, the Big House. That's a pretty good location for them, to be totally honest. And then I draw Merlin. Okay, I do certainly want to get Merlin online. It's a bit of a bummer to not have access to Nico here, but I don't actually know if that's true. I think I'm going to snap because Merlin plus Shoulao, though. I could actually play Nico just to get it out of hand. But I don't know if I'll want the draw 2. You know what? I especially don't want the draw 2 because they're just playing a Killmonger deck. I actually want to polymorph this Chavez as soon as possible. They have Prio here, but they can't Killmonger the Kitty Pride. I'm not going to let them do that this turn. And we have Nico now, too. So we could Nico the Kitty Pride. I do want to cable... So what is this? This draws me 3 cards, plus an Omniversal Presence. They have Prio, so I could do something a little bit different. I could try to Deafening Chord the Marrow, too. I just don't think I need to do that, and I do think it's a good idea to throw out the cable. I'm also looking for Copycat to try to find some cool interaction here. They're going to run out the Killmonger. Looks good to me. I did not polymorph. Oh, and they did not kill their Marrow, either. Sure thing. Okay. Nice little Ancestral here. A nice little draw 3. And we find Maverick and Scarlet Spider going into the final turn. Never mind, we find just Scarlet Spider. But that's still good. This is Nico, and it's Demon Mode. I think this is a pretty clear polymorph Scarlet Spider. And then Shoulao here, Kitty Pride here. Roll the die, it's probably good enough. Iron Lad. Iron Lad onto Venom. Okay, that's not actually going to get me, unfortunately, because I'm going to polymorph all of these Nico points away. They do get some Affliction onto Merlin there, but all of the Nico Affliction is totally wasted on me as we polymorph out of there, and now a Scarlet Spider does make me feel like I'm set up quite well. This is a full shoe again. So I think we just do this probably this and activate. Yeah, seems good. Cool. We have Prio. They have a Venom. Oh, is this like a Galactus? If this is a Galactus and it gets me, that is a bummer. 50-50 to not lose to Galactus, please. We don't, and they have a death. Okay, not gonna get us. We get them for another 10 cuber. That is really, really going to help. Oh, yeah, they lost their Moira, or Morgan, rather. That is an awkward rip for sure. That is going to be it for me for today. Thank you guys very much for watching, and hopefully you will also watch the Snapprentice finale, and you'll watch the other videos that I put out in the future on the different creative competitions that we had during the Snapprentice. But for today, that is going to be it for me. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.